Hey guys, so I'm going to Africa in like 3 hours, so I thought I'd just do a quick video where I do like some of my top 10 favorite debut novels. Now, this is not in any particular order, and I might do another top 10 later, um, so just keep that in mind. And it gives me a chance to talk about books that I always talk about anyway on this damn channel. So like and subscribe if you like me selling out. So the first novel we have is Story of the Eye by George Bataille. This was such an important novel for me. To think that's his first fiction, and mind you, I'm going for first fiction, not necessarily if they had nonfiction before. That I'm not counting that. But what a damn strong novel. It's very erotic, very disturbing eroticism within it, but it has this sense of nostalgia permeating throughout. And in my opinion, that's a really good sign of a good book where you feel nostalgia for something that you didn't even experience yourself. And I read this in one sitting. I was listening to like a Kingdom Hearts soundtrack and they just bumped it up, Vector to Heaven. And but like when I read Death and Sensuality later on, everything just tied so much better into this book. His philosophy ties into his fiction so well. This is an amazing book. I did a review on it. You should definitely check it out. Next up is Olmsted is Luck. I read this last year. The tunnel's still coming out. This is a solid, goddamn novel. It's my favorite gas so far. Let me just say that. Um, and the language in here is beautiful. And this came out to me at a great time because, kind of like Ulysses and stuff, each segment of the novel like starts changing itself and starts changing the linguistic games it's playing and everything. After reading very monotone, heavy novels, this was such a great refresher. Um, the priest Ferber is a jackass. Olmstetter, even though he's the likable guy character, he is likable, and the priestess has a stick up his ass about him. Really dark comedy scene in the middle, but the language is gorgeous. It's funny how he had the document and then it was stolen because who the hell steals book documents? But I'm so happy it came out. This is a masterclass. Here's a surprise one. I did this earlier on my channel and nobody cared. Everything Under by J.Z. Johnson. She's around my age actually, and I still think this is a great example of modernist fiction. Modern modernist fiction, as stupid as that is. It's about a woman finding her mother, and it tackles themes of gender identity. This is the best example I've ever seen of like gender fluidity. I never even could really find good examples in real life, unfortunately. But it's just such a beautiful, gut wrenching novel, and it applies to a myth. And I'm not going to say which myth it's based off of, but when you find out, it was so unexpected. So to have a twist like that, you know, so to have a twist like that with myths, it's a pretty rare thing nowadays since we can just see them coming a mile away. But please check out this novel. Next one up is A Naked Circularity by Sergio de la Pava. I did an interview with de la Pava. I have to put it back up because it was stolen. And I will say he gave a crap interview to me, but he wrote a really good first book. This is kind of my replacement for Infinite Jest. I find it funnier. I find the characters more engaging. I love the legal stuff in it because my parents are lawyers, so I kind of grew up with that. It also intertwines stuff with boxing, the honeymooners. It has all these elements that I think actually do come together in a very entertaining way that I didn't find with the Jest. It's I read this in segments. It's a pretty long novel. I wonder how it would read to me if I read it all the way through without breaks. But I love this novel, and I heard his latest stuff is not as great, so I'm happy with this right now. Oh, here's a big one. I first read the library. Here's a big one. I technically didn't finish this book, and I read the library copy, but I had to have a copy, and that's Danilevsky's House of Leaves. What an amazing novel! Just like all the stuff like this in it. He wrote like the first 50 pages in a frenzy, and then he ripped it up, and I think his sister came back and put it together for him, because it was after his dad was dying. He had a pity party, he said. But like, first off, this is a horror novel. He says it's a love story. It's a horror novel, but it's such an amazing novel. Great postmodernism. The things he does with the text is not gimmicky. It actually applies to what's going on in the novel, and it's just great. And when I say I haven't finished it, well, the last stuff is a bunch of like poems and just like miscellaneous stuff, pictures. And it was one of the things where I kind of realized like, hey, I don't necessarily have to finish a novel to know that I like it. So it's just a lot of stuff like that, which is cool. I should probably reread it sometime and read the ending, but I read the main story's ending and all the layers of narration, like from a found footage to a document to a study on it, and we don't even know what the actual story within the story is actually real or the narrator is, but it managed to accomplish all that while having a very human plot to it. Great novel. Ho ho ho! My most expensive book, Oze Ate's The Disconnected. This bad boy got copyright claim, so please go watch the video where I re-uploaded it. But um, amazing novel. It's such a shame this is only kept to 200 copies in English translation. This is probably the best novel I've read about in male friendship. It's about a friend who commits suicide and the other friend having to deal with the grief of losing him. And again, he really like Ulysses, so he plays all these linguistic games. So each chapter of the novel feels very different from each other, which is very refreshing and keeps me engaged. But such a beautiful, somber novel. It's a masterpiece on it's a masterpiece on a literary artistic merit, and it's a masterpiece on just a human element. I read his other book, Waiting for Fear. Didn't hit me as much as this one did. I don't think he only has one more book. I'm not sure if it's translated, but the state is really strange with the translation right now. So this one hit super close to home. Kind of like a literary Silent Hill in a lot of ways. Has a lot of weird elements, but it's just based off like human characters. Lanark by Alessandro Gray. Um, this is one of those books. I remember I said in my review that it was a difficult book to read, not necessarily because of language, but because I was reading too much personal stuff about myself in this novel. And even when I think back to it, it's like I almost don't want to pick up this book just because how hard some of the things hit. But just an exceptional novel. It depicts a really great male friendship again. It depicts he's able to show this character and you have a lot of sympathy with this character while showing that he's also a bit of a bastard in some ways as well. While intermixing it to this very surreal setting, like one part he goes, there's some lips on the ground, and he goes into a hospital through those lips. Again, there's some kind of Silent Hill-like stuff in here, but Lanark, Life in Four Books, you need to check this out. I gotta read more of him. I just did this novel, The Mezzanine by Nicholas Baker. I'm surprised that this is a debut. It was such a strong novel. It reminded me of Wolf in a lot of ways, where it's so referential within itself. And to see somebody take the mundane to this extent and be so excessive compulsive about it in a sense, amazing. Never really seen anything like this. Or I've seen stuff like this, but not to this degree. And it's a really quick novel, which is nice because I don't think 800 pages of this would be mind-numbing. But I always wondered about trying to capture like the modern day and like the mundanities of everyday life and make it beautiful in a prose format. And he does that. He really does that. While each topic individually sounds like it sucks and be boring to read, in culmination, it's just such a very beautiful novel. And the final one, I was gonna keep this for last, but it kind of happened. Thomas Pynchon's V. This is my second favorite Pynchon novel. Now is it his best one? No. But like, I just really love the nautical stuff in this book, and I don't know, the aesthetics of this book just really speak to me. I know some people really don't like it, and I can see some sections are boring. Like, unfortunately, the section where they're in South Africa with the white family was pretty boring to me, even though then it goes to the head tribe afterwards, which is a pretty impactful scene. And there's some questionable stuff with Pynchon and what he's trying to say about rape in some scenes, but overall, I really love this novel. I put it right behind Mason and Dixon. If I read all of Pynchon again, it would change, but I think this is a bit underrated. There's a big V sign, like a cloth kind of sign at my Barnes Noble. If that place ever goes out of business, I'm gonna buy that damn thing. But yeah, that is my top 10 debut novels. I'll probably have another list later on, but let me know what debut novels you think I should check out, and what are some of your favorite debuts. Debuts are kind of an interesting thing because, you know, you don't expect them to be that great. I feel like debut novels are really only for the fanatics of that author, but then you get some that are home runs or some that kind of define the career for the rest of their life. So yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe.